physical records because his use of computers is weak.
Okay. So, I think that constitutes a perception check.
Cool.
Now,
My best.
two things here. One, I'm going to make it average, but I'm also going to add 1 black dice because the environmental thing here is you're having to rush. Like, you don't want to spend a whole lot of time in here.
No, makes sense.
So I'm adding a black dice for that because you don't, like, even if it's not a cop that sees you in here, like, let's say it's one of the other people that's like, you know, just a clerk or the mailman walking through, it's still going to be a problem.
Yeah, for sure.
So there you go. The rule's ready whenever you are. Hey.
Boom!
So.
Yes! Perception! You were such a cheeky bitch with me for so long. But now I understand you.
So here's the deal. Your success means you find no relevant information in any of the physical records here.
Perfect.
Reduces strain for your advantage. I think your triumph here means, though, as you're looking through the desk, you're sliding your hand like under to like find maybe like a hidden compartment or something. Like you're trying to figure out what's going on, and there's a piece of paper attached to the underneath of the desk, and as you pull it out, it has the computer password on it.
Oh, brilliant. All right.
Is the password?
No.
Oh.
It's probably just like a crazy series of numbers and letters and symbols, right? That you never would have been able to guess unless you were a hacker. Slicer, sorry.
It's probably super complicated, so he wrote it down so that he wouldn't
exactly.
have to
That's exactly correct. Yep. That's exactly correct.
Sounds like one of my clients.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you find that, and then like, even though there's no evidence of anything in the physical records, now you can just literally go right to the computer and look things up.
Yeah, so I'll go right to the computer and just see what I can see.
Yeah, so when you pull it up, it gives you a couple of options, right? That kind of like scroll up the screen. And as in all Star Wars, it's basically like DOS, right? Like that's how it's kind of laid out. And I think one of them is like personnel records, arrest records, statistics. There's probably one for acquisitions. There's probably one for evidence. There's just like a ton of different options available to you. A lot of it looks administrative, right? Like,
all right. I think what Jax would do is Jax would go out into the bullpen, as it were, and try and see if he can find a data pad that he can copy everything onto and bring with him.
You don't want to just copy it onto yours?
I don't have a data pad.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? I think that your triumph before on the perception, maybe there's one like, just sitting out there. Maybe somebody knocked it off a table or something. And it's just kind of like sitting there. It's a storage device essentially.
Cool. So yeah, I just want to copy everything onto a data pad, so that we can go through it later.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm sure there's someone who might have a sneaky way of sifting through data better than me, maybe, or something.
Yeah.
So here's a question.
Mm-hmm.
Because Jax likes things, gadgets, guns, things like that, and he's in a police station that's been empty. So can I spend a destiny point to find something cool? I don't really care what it is.
Sure. What in what realm do you want this cool thing to be? Offensive, defensive, utility.
Either offensive. To be honest, any of them. So like, so something that you would find in a police station that could be useful. So like, one of those recon droid things, or I think they're called recon remotes, or like a pistol, or like a riot shield, or I don't know.
Sure.
Just something cool and copy.
Yeah, I got you. I'm with you. I'm tracking where you're going here.
Rocket boots. I want to find rocket boots. No, I'm just...
That might be more than
a jetpack, maybe.
Maybe we'll have to see. So I think that I guess here's my next question. Do you want to like do you want to find this in the evidence locker or just kind of sitting around?
So that's the thing. I was kind of thinking that maybe I could use a destiny point to find like their armory or something, but not like the armory, but like where they go to keep their gear. So like not just guns and stuff, but also like communications equipment. And I don't know. I just feel like I'm in a police station and I got the double triumph to get everyone out of there. I feel like Jax would definitely try to. I don't want to use the term loot and pillage, but like check some stuff out.
Borrow something for a long period of time that he may not return for a while.
Oh no,
Oh,
no, it's
yeah.
definitely stealing. It's definitely stealing.
I'm just making it sound not criminal.
Yeah, I'm not Zian. I'll just steal shit.
Okay, cool. I think I know exactly what you find.
Sweet.
I'm gonna message it to you.
Oh.
So you go over to this is right up your alley too, I think. You go up to like a lockup, right? Where it's somebody was clearly like being in processed, all their equipment was being in processed. And you know it's empty now. And as you go to the lockup, you open it up and you see one of these. You may not know what that is. But it is it's a restricted mod that clearly like somebody found on like a weapon they confiscated, and they've detached it and it's just kind of like sitting out and about now.
Okay. Cool.
So if you don't know what it does, here, I can link this for you. There you go.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, which obviously it's restricted for the reason that it's like having a silencer, right?
Okay. Cool.
Does that seem acceptable for your Destiny points?
Yeah. I just wanted to do something cool. So
Sure.
yeah, I'm down.
Cool.
I genuinely didn't have anything in mind. I just wanted to. I'll use my Destiny. I'll use a light side point though.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. I was gonna ask that. Cool. Awesome. So you find a new mod that perhaps you could use or sell even for extra credits.
Ooh.
It is restricted though, so you might get a better price, but you'll have to find someone that's willing to buy it.
We're on the planet to do that shit though, so.
You indeed
so many
are.
choices. Okay, I gotta think. Go to someone else now.
So Kin.
Yeah.
So Kin, you're inside. You're sitting inside the office of Wilhelm,
Contemplating my choices.
Yeah, and I think that he's told you to wait there, and he comes back, and he's got a couple of individuals with him. And one of them looks definitely like a technician of some sort. He, as Wilhelm approaches, he kind of like, he does the walk around and kind of looks at you, like does the up and down. He turns to the technician and he says, "This is what I was telling you about them. I'm not sure who sent it, but well, maybe you can take a look." And the technician like pulls out like a small handheld computer device and looks like he's about to like plug into you to run some diagnostics.
Whoa.
Yeah, the technician kind of like jumps back and like kind of looks and he says, "Boss, I didn't know you said it was active."
I am my own property. Can't do such things like that without permission.
I think that the three individuals that are sitting there, one of them is clearly like an assistant, like an admin assistant, and she's probably just like writing all this down and like kind of like looks strangely at everybody. And the Wilhelm probably like looks around and he says, "Who owns you?"
I own myself. I was asked to come here so you could take a look at me. I was promised a substantial fee.
Who promised such a thing?
There was an individual on the street. I do not recall her name.
Well, be that as it may, if you're here to deliver yourself, or you want us to run some tests or whatever you're talking about, I'd like it if my technician could run some diagnostics. You're an interesting model and perhaps have some usefulness.
I think we need to discuss terms first.
Terms of what exactly? You came here.
Yes, and I was promised a fee if I would help.
Help with what exactly?
I'm not sure what the nature of my interest, your interest in me is, but I was told I would be an interesting addition to your research.
I think there's like a troubled look passes his face. And he said, what is your primary purpose?
Security.
Security. I think I see now. So this is gonna take some convincing, Kin. With obvious reason. Oops, that is not what I wanted to open. That's Hearthstone, everybody. Clicked on the wrong button.
Gotta delve a dungeon.
Clicked on the wrong button there.
You don't delve dungeons in Hearthstone.
So you can now
Do
though, and
now.
it's amazing. It's the only time I've ever played a solo experience for fun. Be fair. Anyway, regardless, not a Hearthstone stream. So Kin, how are you? Is this a negotiation role? Is that what you're angling for here?
I think
Because
we'll say perhaps we can discuss this in your office, and then
Okay.
gesture to Wilhelm.
yeah, I think that taken aback a little bit, Wilhelm definitely probably nods and beckons you into his office. The technician follows. The assistant stays outside to conduct her duties some more. And you can tell that Wilhelm is very wary about this situation. You say you're security. You say that nobody sent you, that you're here of your own accord, which is confusing to him because, again, remember, Drunkenwell, all droids serve a very specific purpose. There's not really a whole lot of autonomy on Drunkenwell, so having a droid that says they have autonomy is probably a little bit disconcerting to him.
Okay, if when we enter his office and the technician follows,
Yeah.
and we'll turn to Wilhelm and say, "Would you mind if we talk privately? This is a matter of personal information."
Yeah, and I think that there's a moment. I don't think he's convinced. I think you're going to need to do some sort of check here.
Yeah.
Which is not great for Kin, obviously.
Nope.
But anything is possible in the great grand scheme of things. Because essentially, he's trying to figure out if you're a threat or not at this point, right? Like, it's not so much what you can do or what you're here for. It's mostly, are you a threat to me? So, do you think that charm is probably the most appropriate here?
Yeah, it could work.
Okay. Could work.
Droids. No.
Well, yeah, because it's not really. Well, it's a deception, but it's not really. I'm not trying to.
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
you haven't actually tried to deceive him yet, right? Like,
No.
you are here to speak with him directly one-on-one. That is
Yeah.
truly your purpose.
Yeah.
Do you want to spend a destiny points?
Yes, I
Okay.
will spend this.
Are you going to take the upgrade, or are you going to take the +1 in the skill?
Well, I have to take the upgrade, I think. So
Okay.
I only have a green die.
Okay. All right. Right, so we're... Oh, you know what? I actually didn't add the +1. That's fun. There we go.
Okay.
So let
Some
me...
charm check, yeah.
Yeah, let me set up the die roll. You get an upgrade on your side. It's just average, right? Just to alleviate any concern that you're not going to, kill him when he closes the door. And whenever you're ready.
Wow. Right, who knew?
Yep.
Wow. So,
I think maybe he's curious more than charmed.
Exactly. I think that's exactly correct. Is he motions for the technician to just like leave, and the technician kind of looks confused, and closes the door behind him on his way out, and Wilhelm kind of like just looks at you, and he probably initiates a conversation with, "Do you have a recording device?"
Not that I'm aware of.
Again, his eyes kind of narrow, and he says, "Are you not aware of your full functionality?"
I have been told I have no recording device, but I'm not 100% sure.
By who exactly?
My friend.
Your friend. Is this the mechanic that works on you? Services your functionality?
Correct.
And where is this individual now?
That is for me to know.
Oh.
However, we need to discuss your situation. I have been sent here because someone trying to kill you.
Yeah, and I think that like he kind of pales and kind of like takes a step back, and he like
No, not me.
yeah, I think he even says like, "It's not you, is it?"
No, I'm here to protect you. And well, I need information on why they're trying to kill you.
Well, you clearly know more about it than I do. You should know why they're trying to kill me. Who's trying to kill me?
I'm not sure who, but they seem to be targeting you and some other individuals. I'm trying to figure out how you together.
I'm sorry, this is obviously all very sudden, but what exactly? So you know that someone is targeting me, but you don't know who, and you don't know why, and also you know that they're targeting other individuals as well. Who are they targeting? What? You're gonna have to explain this from the very beginning.
So, Kellyanne, that was one of the persons
Yes.
who were killed already.
Yep.
So I'll mention her name and just see how he reacts.
Let's find out how he reacts. This is gonna be. I'm just gonna use dice. This is gonna be a discipline check. Okay, he doesn't react well. So I think that you see him. He kind of like you see him swallow. You know, he kind of gulps a little bit. His hands grip the back of his chair like a little too tightly. You can see his knuckles begin to whiten.
So you do know what this is about?
Like, no, I don't know what it's about, of course, but yes, I knew who she was.
And you have dealings that the public do not know of.
Yes, it would be very bad if the public knew about our dealings. For both of us. It's a matter of reputation.
I can protect you, but I need to know the full story.
Yeah, and I think there's a moment he kind of like sighs and his shoulders slump and he sinks into his chair. And you see he kind of like puts a hand on his head and rests his elbow on the desk, and he says, "Me and Kellyanne, we were involved."
That's not what I was hoping for.
I know, it's also awkward for Kin, I bet.
Yeah.
What is involved?
In...
Yeah. And he goes, you know, involved, we were seeing each other, but we were keeping it a secret.
Oh.
It's weird because I don't think Mouse has ever like considered anything like that, so I don't think she's ever told Ken about anything like that.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Kin would have zero context, I bet.
So you're sexually involved.
You can tell.
be more awkward about it, because Mouse would be like way awkward about it too.
I think that Wilhelm just kind of like nods his head yes.
Right. And why would they try to kill both of you?
Well, I don't know. Why should I know these things?
So I asked him if he knows.
Ask who else she was involved with.
Do you know Police Captain Amarato Lambo?
Yes, of course I know the captain. He's part of the Drug Enforcement Agency on Drunkenwell.
Are you involved with him as well?
No, I'm not involved with him.
Jeez.
Huh.
I was about to say, what is this?
Do you know any other reason why people would target people like you and her and him?
Leanne wasn't the most liked individual in certain circles. She, well, cost a lot of people a lot of money. Not me, of course, but a lot of other people who would, well, profit off of misfortunes of others. It's kind of why I admired her so.
Interesting.
She was never scared of them either. Always stood up to them, but I think I knew one day I would catch up to her.
So just out of character here. Maya Stryker wanted us to find out who killed these people, who's killing them.
Correct.
So that
So
would mean
my striker wants us to stop the murders. Mouse's people want us to embarrass these people, but not necessarily murder them. In fact, murdering them is probably not what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, they more want them to like answer for their crimes, not die.
So it seems weird that Arcanus would
It's a
try to
weird one
stop.
because it looks like
Yeah.
the cop was helping Arcanus by one of the things we knew about him before I went in was that he has a very good arrest record, but none of the arrests have been of Arcanus. They've been of other.
But
so
we
almost
know
like
Arcanus operate here, right? Like we're
Yeah,
100%
so it's like he's
know.
so it's like he was taking out their competition.
Mhm.
But then again, now it sounds like Kellyanne was probably not helpful to Arcanus, so it's getting more complicated.
Okay. Would it be okay for me to stay by your side as your temporary bodyguard? I would not get in your way. In fact, you want your technician to examine me, I would be okay with that, as long as you give me your word you will not compromise my personality.
I'm a man of machines. I spent my whole life creating them, and you're one of the most advanced models I've ever seen. I wouldn't want to compromise anything. If anything, I'd want to study it. But maybe it's for the best. Maybe I should have someone, but I can't. You stand out quite a bit. I can't just go around with you at my side. People will become suspicious. Is there any way you could be more subtle about things?
That is not my strong suit.
I guess it can't be helped. But what do you require in return?
I need to figure out how and who are performing these murders.
I think he kind of nods and he says, well, then perhaps I should not hire you as a bodyguard, but what if I hire you as an investigator? Do you think you have the capabilities of finding this information out?
I would require some amount of access to your personal files.
I'm sure that can be arranged. But Kellyanne was not involved with any part of the work here. But I can certainly provide you with some information that I know. Perhaps it'll help lead you in the right direction.
That will be acceptable.
Well, what is your fee?
Well.
First of all, I have to ask, does Kin, like, are credits even a thing that Kin thinks about?
Not really, but he has understanding they can be changed for goods and services. So he has he has his goals.
You have a rudimentary knowledge of economics.
Yeah, but he probably would rather just go hog wild in their factory. But since I'm a part of a crew, yeah,
ask him if he wants to. Ask him if he wants to hire you, or if he wants to hire a crew to whatever. And if he just wants to hire you, then go hog wild in the factory. You tried.
I'm kind of thinking that I need to do this alone because Kim wouldn't really have a big issue just abandoning those plans if it was for the good of the crew.
Yeah, then just go hog wild in the factory, man.
All right.
Yeah.
If he was a guy who made guns, Jax would definitely work for a mod or a gun.
Yeah. All right.
Dash would go for ship parts or a new ship. Who knows?
Okay. So, yeah. All right. I know how to play it. All right. You mentioned that you had relations with this woman. May I ask, did you have feelings for one another?
Oh. I think, like, he goes to answer, and then he looks at you and he says, is this some sort of test? Even if I were to tell you, would you understand?
I require company. I need beings around me. I wish to instruct fellow droids. I would like to use your resources if I could.
I think for a long moment he sits there and just stares at you. And then he probably, like, shakes his, like, kind of snaps out of it and he says, well, I guess I'm sure we can provide you with what you need. You are a strange droid.
I will take that as a compliment.
Not sure it was one.
You could say unique.
I am designated K1NN, but you may call me Kin.
Very well, Kin. It will be a pleasure, and upon discovery of who might have caused this tragedy, we can certainly discuss how many friends you wish to have.
Thank you. And Kin will stretch out his arm, like for a handshake.
Yeah, I think he stands up and he shakes your hand, and it's kind of awkward to shake hands with a droid. But he kind of, like, as you turn to move away, he kind of just, like, looks at his hand like, why did I just do that, right? Do you leave at that point? Do you head out?
No, I will contact Mouse.
Okay. So it's appropriate because I wanted to talk to Mouse anyway real quick.
Mouse.
So Mouse, you are, like, kind of just meandering through the hallways of this apartment complex.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to figure out exactly where Paola lives, right?
Yeah.
What would be your process to do that?
I was hoping that there might be, like, a registry, like a computer system or something.
Absolutely. There are definitely, like, a couple of terminals throughout the the travel, right? It's so that individuals can check to see if they have mail, or there's public terminals. There's probably like I say it's an apartment complex, but it's also probably set up a little bit like a hotel. There's probably like an office space. There's definitely some amenities, right, that you could probably use, because remember, if you're inside the building at this point, people are going to assume that you live here.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I could just find one of these terminals and maybe like get into the network and like find out.
Sure.
I need to find out.
Yeah, absolutely, you can. So I think that first things first, you find one of the public terminals, and it's got like just it's obviously connected to the local network, right? But it's not like pointed at the local network, if that makes sense. You're gonna have to go into the root command and figure out how to get into the local network to figure out what you want to figure out, which is going to be a computer's check. The system is not designed to resist this sort of thing, and you're already like on the inside. It's not like you have to connect to the network as well. So it's just going to be an average check. Computers, I believe, is appropriate here.
Sure. Computers. Yeah, there we go.
Nice.
Ooh.
Computers.
Okay, take a strain.
I will.
You got 2 successes there, so I'll give you 2 things. The first thing is you very quickly identify where Paola lives. It's actually on the penthouse level of this building.
Mm-hmm.
The very top. The second thing that you get is let's see, what would be a good second thing here?
I get her door code.
That can definitely be the triumph, yes. If you want her door code, you definitely can have that with the triumph. I think the second success here is, in addition to that, you also get schematics.
Okay.
So there are 2 primary entryways. There's the front entryway into the penthouse. Then there's also like a service elevator.
Mm-hmm.
That will take you up, and then you would have to enter a code to actually enter into the penthouse area. So there's the primary elevator, and then there's a service elevator where like it's a direct line to like if you wanted room service or deliveries or anything like that bypasses the whole like dog and pony show to get into the building.
Right. What was I thinking? I'm sorry. Oh, I don't need to sneak around or anything.
No, because again, the security is all located on the entrances to this place. Once you're already inside, people are just going to assume that you're supposed to be here.
Yeah. So I guess I just go up. Like, there's really no issue.
Mm-hmm.
People assume I'm supposed to be here. And I'm not gonna act like I am not supposed to be here. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you are you going up the main elevator to the penthouse level, or are you going up the service elevator?
I'll go up the service elevator, just because that seems like the one that will circumvent any sort of. That'll go straight up. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, as you're riding in the service elevator, you see the numbers begin to tick off, right, as you get higher and higher. Probably while you're in there, that's when you get the message from Kin. It's when Kin calms you. And what do you say, Kin?
I have some intel on William.
On William?
William.
Yeah, the one that we're looking for.
Can I send you some information for you to go through?
Well, I mean, I'm nowhere near any sort of, what is it called? The HoloNet? I'm not near any HoloNet terminals or anything like that.
Right.
So,
All right.
I mean, I can look at it later.
Should I send it to someone else?
That'd probably be a good idea.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Wait, are you okay?
Yes.
Okay, just be safe.
You too. Bye.
So, after that conversation, you reach the upper level, and the little terminal, like, it dings at you, Mouse. And it says, please enter passcode, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I enter in the door code.
Yeah, and the elevator opens up, and you enter into what appears to be like a service kitchen. So it's not like into the main area, but it appears to be like in a service kitchen, and you can tell that like there are some lights on inside of the apartment. You can hear the distant sounds of what sound like maybe like a hollow display, a recorder, like it's got some sort of entertainment on it. It might be visual, it might just be audio, who knows. It's like coming from a couple of rooms over. And you can hear there's a woman who is singing very off key, and it's kind of distorted and weird because you can tell it's actually coming through. There appears to be the sound of water running, as if Paola may be in the shower and singing to herself in the shower. So you, luckily for you, again with your triumph, I'm kind of tying that in on there. You have kind of free access to do whatever you want to do in this moment.
I want to investigate, like snoop around.
Okay. What things are you looking for specifically?
Oh, geez. I guess I want to find out, like, if she's really profiteering. Like, I want to see if there's any like bank statements or like anything like that I can find.
Yeah,
maybe
absolutely.
like she has like a terminal I can get into.
Yeah, so she obviously has like a personal terminal where she can do things that are connected to the HoloNet in here.
Or if she has like a safe, maybe I could like crack the safe with mechanics.
Maybe. It's probably skullduggery to crack the safe, to be honest.
Well, I mean, a safe has mechanical. It's like, I guess
Yeah.
skullduggery would work too, but
Yeah, but I would say mechanics when cracking a safe is if you had tools and you were mechanically breaking into the safe. Skullduggery would be like picking the lock, quote unquote, because without like an arc welder. But you have to find out if she has one, which is a good call. Why don't you roll me a perception check? I'm gonna make it hard, but I'm going to add an upgrade on your side for free because you have schematics.
Yeah. I'm also gonna go ahead and flip a light side point for this too.
Absolutely. And actually, you know what? That's a fair point. I'm gonna flip one back on you as well.
Oh, dang.
So don't. Yeah, I'm gonna flip one back because there is the potential that something very bad happens. So
Okay.
you deserve at least a small chance at despair.
Right.
You know,
Right.
all of a sudden
Okay.
she walks out of the shower or something like that.
Yeah.
So whenever you're ready, why don't you go ahead and roll a perception check?
Sure thing. But you 2 successes.
But you're totally fine. So you pull up your schematics and you have your little hollow display and you're kind of looking through them, and you see that there is inside of the bedroom there is a recess in the wall that looks like it would be perfect to hold a safe. And so when you go over there, it's as cliche as possible. It's behind like a painting that's on the wall that like swings outward. And you swing it outward and you can see there is a small safe sitting there. And I think that your second success here is there appears to be, because these people are clearly not the best, there appears to be a note attached to it. That doesn't have the code or combination, but what it does have is it has a quote. Let me get that for you. Yeah, it has a. And it says this. Oops, that is the wrong thing.
Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can.
So, I will let your brain muddle over that because it appears to be a clue, perhaps, to how to get into this safe.
So what is around me at the moment.
Okay.
Other than safe.
Yeah, so around you at the moment there's the painting, obviously, that's been like swung outward. There's a nightstand that appears to have like a couple of like pop caps from bottles of some sort of drink. It appears to have like an ashtray, like a very ornate ashtray that doesn't look like it's been used at all. There's obviously like a small lamp that sits on it. If you open up the drawer, you can see that there's a couple of magazines and books that are all like scientifically related, right? There's like Science Today and all that other fun stuff in there. There appears to be a garbage can that has a couple of bottles in it of some like probably like mineral water, right? It's probably like expensive fruity mineral water. And the bed is unmade. It is kind of in a pile. The sheets and the down cover are kind of in a pile. There's a dresser that has a mirror on it. And on top of the dresser there appeared to be like a couple of like hollow pads, right, that have like some information on them. There appear to be there appears to be like a makeup kit of some sort. What else is there? There are some clothes that are kind of thrown on top, like maybe clothes that she intends to wear after she gets out of the shower, or maybe like tomorrow's outfit. You're not really sure. It's hard to tell.
What was the picture of?
So the picture is of a individual who's riding a large bantha, right? Like the big hairy beast with the curvy horns. And it's actually a handmade painting, right? So it's very well done and very ornate and very beautiful. They appear to be on a desert planet of some sort. And surrounding the bantha appear to be a couple of sand people who are like keeping it at bay, right? Like they have their little pokey sticks that are up, like keeping the bantha back. And the person riding appears to be a man who's in kind of dusty garb, but has like a blaster in his hand, like kind of held up, and is holding the reins of the bantha with another hand. Yeah.
So this clue is either literal or it's some kind of saying that relates to something. I would like to see if there's a way I could like determine if it's like some kind of credo for like maybe like a doctor or a scientist or something like that.
Sure. You want to make some sort of roll to help give you an advantage here?
Yeah, I'd like to see if there might be like a way I could like discern a clue.
Sure. What method do you think is best here? Like how do you think this is gonna be appropriate here? Now, like a couple of things here are that are available to you. Obviously, knowledge checks, right? Like any sort of knowledge check that you might be good at could apply here to helping you figure this out. Some other options. I always need to look at the skills.
Yeah. I mean, I guess would skullduggery like involve in this like being clever and like knowing?
Yeah, skullduggery is based on cunning. I think the skullduggery is appropriate.
And having like a sense for like clues or puzzles and things like that.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. I think it's totally fair that a skullduggery check might work here.
Going to try a skullduggery check.
Okay. I think it's going to be. I'm going to make it hard. This is going to be 3 purple. I don't think there's any black dice applied to this though. So I think it's just a hard check, just a generically hard check. Whenever you're ready.
Yeah. Okay. I'll do my best. I got a failure.
Yeah.
Oh no, I got a strain.
Yeah. So take another strain. Well, I mean, technically it's a failure, right? So take another strain as well, and I think that you don't get much. It seems like there's not a whole lot of context here. Maybe that means that it is literal, right? Like maybe that means there is some literal clue here that you're missing. But as far as like the generic stuff in the room, it doesn't seem like there's anything that might have to do with it. There doesn't appear to be any cleverness going on with like the words, the syllables, anything like that you can tell.
Yeah. As far as the safe goes, is it just a number safe or?
Yeah, it looks like a pretty generic like spin dial safe.
Okay.
Probably has 3 or 4 digits associated with it.
Okay. I would like to see what's up with that ashtray then.
Okay.
Because that is what sticks out the most to me.
Sure.
The fact that it's never been used sort of raises some red flags. I don't think this is like a hotel situation, right?
Yeah, absolutely not. This is clearly where she lives.
Yeah. So I don't think they would have supplied an ashtray.
Yeah, no, everything in this room is definitely supplied by the owner.
Yeah, so I'd like to examine the ashtray.
Okay.
And see if I can discern anything.
So you pick it up, and it's very heavy. It's made out of like some sort of crystalline structure or material. So it's quite heavy and dense when you do pick it up. And as you do, I think you see that there's like a little ring of dust around it to indicate that it hasn't moved for quite some time from its location.
Mm-hmm.
And as you pick it up, you flip it over and you look at the bottom of it. Why don't you roll me a perception check?
Yay,
I'm gonna make it hard.
Another one.
Yeah, and also just because you're like moving stuff around and looking at stuff, I'm gonna use a dark side point. Chance that potentially stuff happens that goes bad here.
Yeah. Okay. Perception.
Hey. Okay. So the 3 threat, don't take that as strain. I think that what happens here is your success is as you're kind of like looking, observing around it. Something clicks in your head. You bring it over to the safe. You're like, maybe it has something to do with like what's going on here. And you notice that the dial. You look at the dial because this is perception. It was on the thing, but you can observe other things as well. The dial doesn't appear to be on 0. A lot of times, out of habit, a lot of people will spin their dials of their safes and then switch it back to 0. I'm sure we've all done it at least once as well.
Yeah.
But the dial appears to be specifically on a number. And I think that it dawns on you that the clue might be literal. And so start where you are may actually mean start exactly where you're at right now.
Oh, shit. Okay, yeah.
So that may be the first number. And so the trick is that instead of spinning, because you know how dials spin 2 different directions, right? You spin it one way, get to a number, and spin it the other way. It would be very easy for somebody to really fuck this up by spinning one direction, and then it's all, you gotta go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
So you realize that as part of your perception.
Okay.
Now, involved specifically with this ashtray, your intuition was correct. In the fact that as you look at the like top and all around this ashtray, you can see there appear to be little marks on the edges of the ashtray that don't appear to be random. They appear to be very specific. And as you kind of like hold up the ashtray to the dial, you can see that wherever the mark is, if that lines up with a number, it might line up with a couple of other numbers around the dial.
Okay. So is there like a mark that kind of like is like a single Roman numeral or like a single mark, like a starting mark? Like,
yes.
Do the marks get more complex?
So there are 4 marks on the ashtray itself, like the around ashtray, and not all of them appear the same except for one, which appears to be it's not actually the it lines up specifically like if you've ever seen an ashtray where you would like put your cigarette or cigar to hold. It lines up specifically with that, indicating that it is indifferent in some way. And so you're able to determine, I think, with your perception and with your ideas, that may be the start. and then you just have to go to the different numbers in whatever sequence of numbers there
Yeah.
are.
So yeah, if I use that one as the starting mark, then I can determine like
Right.
what the next number is by the secondary mark, and then
Exactly.
the
So
third and the fourth.
right, you have the number of numbers now, right? So all it's going to take at this point is getting the right combination. And so
Okay.
with your advanced, you're spinning it around, you're spinning around, you're spinning around, you're trying. Finally, you get the right combination, and you pull on the handle, and it opens up, and you open up the safe, and at that
Yay.
exact moment, you hear the shower turn off,
Oh shit. Okay.
and that's your 3 threat. Is the
All
shower
right.
turns off, and you hear Paola begin getting like walking out of not walking out of the bathroom, but like getting out, and you can hear her kind of like moving around inside of the bathroom.
Okay.
And I think that's a perfect place to take our break.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
And when we come back, we'll see what happens. Let's be back at 5 after.
All right.
Solid 10-minute break.
Cool.
Cool.
See y'all in a second. All right, everyone. We're gonna take a quick little break. Stay tuned for the second half of this amazing show. I hope you all are enjoying yourselves, and we'll be back shortly. Stay tuned.